This is Joel Sherman again with three things I'm thinking. I'm going to begin with Clay Holmes, and I'm going to talk about running the marathon and performing at a level of expectation and how important that is. If on March 27th, when the season began, I had told you that Clay Holmes would make 30 starts, have a positive ERA plus. The Mets would be 17-13 in his starts. He would pitch more than 150 innings. You'd go, where do I sign up for that? Well, that's what Clay Holmes has done this year. The Mets signed him to a 3-year, $39 million contract to transition him, and they hoped he'd be a strong back end starter. You know what he's been? A strong back end starter. 377 ERA, has run, and again, just attendance sometimes matters. Over the course of this season, Griffin Canning, Frankie Montas, Tyler McGill lost to injury. Kodai Senga first lost to injury for a significant period, now in the minor leagues. Clay Holmes going out there and making starts has really, really mattered for the Mets. It's interesting. Holmes didn't keep his job for a whole season last year with the Yankees as their closer. He ultimately ended up being the setup man to Luke Weaver at the end of the year, and then a valuable, very valuable reliever in the postseason as the Yankees made a run to the World Series. I wonder if we did see the beginning of Holmes being valuable again in some kind of hybrid form in the postseason with him and Sean Manaea piggybacking a game to open the series against the Padres. But just isolating Clay Holmes, who was the surprise opening day starter for the Mets on March 27th against Houston. And here he is months and months later as one of the guys who has survived the season and performed above average. That's what the Mets were hoping for, and that's what Clay Holmes has given them. Number two, let's talk about somebody who was back in the lineup last night. That's Anthony Volpe. It was one game. It was against a Minnesota team that gave up 10 runs right away. But it's pretty clear Aaron Boone wants Anthony Volpe to be the shortstop of this team. He thinks that that is the best form for the Yankees, and with Jose Caballero being able to be used, especially as a late game weapon for the right running situation or double switch into a game and play someplace on the field. So I think Volpe's going to get a shot here in these last 10 days to see if he can win back his job. He missed 6 games. Some of them, about 3 or 4 of them, were because he took a cortisone shot. You remember he made a diving play earlier in the season. He has a torn labrum in his left shoulder, and maybe this calmed it down. Maybe this is a reminder that a guy Volpe's size shouldn't play day after day. That maybe one of the ways to get the best out of him is to play him 4 out of 5, 5 out of 6, but not just run him into the ground over and over again. What was the most encouraging thing from the game? Both hits by Volpe were to right field yesterday. He had a double and a single besides a walk. I am no hitting guru, but I think that Anthony Volpe is at his best when he does not get into the turn and burn, open up his front hip, try to hit the ball in the air constantly. I think he loses the ability, as an amateur, he was thought of as a terrific hitter, not a power hitter, as a guy who could put the ball in play and have some average. We obviously haven't seen that as a Yankee. But I thought the best he ever was as a Yankee was in the postseason last year. And in the postseason last year, he was an all-fields hitter. He is not a guy who should be trying to put the ball in the air to the pull side constantly. He should use counts and moments to maybe try to drive the ball in the air. But yesterday was an example of when he uses the field, he can be a better hitter, I think. We'll see what happens moving forward, but clearly Aaron Boone wants Anthony Volpe to be the shortstop of the New York Yankees. Why don't we close it out by pointing out the Mets have won 2 straight games as we speak. I still feel like they're going to be that last wildcard team. They're so much better than the teams who are chasing them. At this point, San Francisco and Cincinnati are under 500 teams. Arizona is barely above it. I want to point out one quirk in the playoff tiebreaker situation. As you might or might not know, there are no longer playoff games to decide those one-game knockout games if 2 teams are tied. And the Diamondbacks, who are now a game and a half behind the Mets, and the Mets are tied in their season series, 3-3. So that's the first tiebreaker. The second tiebreaker is within your division record, which means the Mets have 6 games coming up against the Nationals and Marlins. They better do some damage in those games because right now, that's the second tiebreaker. The Mets are 500 against their division. They're 23-23. The Diamondbacks are 25-20. Now they have 6 left against the Padres and Dodgers, plus 1 tonight as we're speaking against the Giants, who they took 2 from. If they get to a second tiebreaker right now, the Diamondbacks would win that second tiebreaker. How many times have we seen the Marlins break the Mets' hearts over the years? The last 3 games of this season for the Mets are against the Marlins. Can you imagine if this came down to a tiebreaker and the Mets lost the second tiebreaker within the division record because they couldn't beat the Marlins again? So it's not just that the Mets are on good footing now, but they should be able to put a brick on the gas pedal and move far ahead of these teams. But one way to secure this and know for sure if the Diamondbacks are actually getting hot late in the year, and it's incredible that the Diamondbacks are getting hot. Remember, they were a big seller at the deadline. They traded one of their best starters, Merrill Kelly. They traded their corner infielders, Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez. Shelby Miller got traded. Randall Grichuk got traded. They lost Corbin Burns early in the season. Their ace, he needed Tommy John surgery. They lost 2 of their best relief pitchers, Justin Martinez and A.J. Puck. Recently, they lost their first base platoon in Pavin Smith and Tyler Locklear. I mean, they are a wounded warrior trying to get to the finish line. The Mets should finish off this team. One way to do that is to take care of business in their division.